Today I'm going to show you how to turn this into this.
She dreams in 'cause she dreams away. Can't find no better man.
Hails, minions and mortals, this is Fang from Lords of the Trident. Since my hair is starting to resemble a late 90s emo kid, and I'm currently 400 pounds, it's clear we're still in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. Shows, tours, and festivals are getting canceled left and right. I mean, they canceled Wacken. Wacken! That sucks. This sucks. In this environment, what's an artist to do? Well, one of the best ways to continue to engage with your audience is through live stream concerts. There are a lot of streams going on right now, so if you're gonna do it, I wanna see you do it right. There are so many people just strumming their acoustic guitar in front of their webcam. That sounds okay, I guess, but we can do so much better. What if I told you that you could run an amazing sounding, fully mixed, multi-camera live stream concert from your computer with the equipment you already have? Well, you can. If you have a simple recording setup at home, then you already have everything you'll need to run an amazing live stream concert. Worst case scenario, you'll need to buy a $10 cable. If you don't already have a home recording setup, then the startup cost to both live stream an amazing concert and start recording from home will be around $300. And you can easily make that back in tips from your first few concerts. Before we begin, a few quick caveats. I'm running Windows, but nearly everything I'm about to show you will be roughly the same on a Mac. Also, I'm running Pro Tools, but you can do all the same steps on any recording software you've got. And if you don't already have a digital audio workstation or DAW installed, you can download and install Reaper for free and evaluate it for as long as you want. I mean, the license is only $60 though. Also, since we're socially isolating, I'm going to assume that your live stream is going to consist of just you playing the guitar and singing. You could also apply these same steps to keyboards, or if you happen to be living with another bandmate or two and you have a larger interface or a separate mixer, you could live stream multiple people. But I am not encouraging you to break quarantine and call over the guys for a full live stream concert. Okay, with all that out of the way, let's get into it. First things first, the audio. The way we're going to make your audio sound fantastic is by processing and mixing your guitar and vocals inside of your recording software. For the guitar, we're going to use a free amp simulator and whatever EQ and effects come free with your DAW. Same thing with the vocals, just no amp sim. There's nothing stopping you from getting fancy and adding in backing tracks, virtual drums, or other cool extras. The sky's the limit, but let's start basic for now. For the rest of this video, I'm going to assume you have a very small, inexpensive, basic 2-input interface like the Focusrite Scarlett 2i2. I have the 18i20, which is the very big brother of the 2i2, but I'm only going to use 2 of the inputs, so the demonstration should be identical with smaller hardware. I'm also going to assume you have at least one microphone with a cable and an electric or acoustic electric guitar. If you only have an acoustic, you're going to need at least one more microphone and cable. I'm going to plug the microphone into my first input and the guitar directly into my second input. Okay, let's get your mix set up.
All right, we're here inside of Pro Tools. I've already created 2 tracks, vocals and guitar. Vocals is a microphone that's just plugged into input 1 of my Focusrite, just via a microphone cable. And guitar is actually my guitar plugged directly in to my Focusrite via a guitar cable. So it's not going through an amp, it's not going through anything. So if I just play the guitar a little bit, you can hear this clean sound. Right, not terrible, not great. We can make it a little bit better, and that's what we're going to do. But first, let's work on the vocals. So I have already added in a compressor to my vocals, and I'm going to pull this up here. I like to use the R compressor by Waves, but there are a ton of different vocal compressors, and there's probably a compressor that came free with your digital audio workstation, whether it be Pro Tools, whether it be Reaper, doesn't matter. You can use any compressor. I just happen to like this one, so I'm going to turn this on. Hello, yes, now I'm much louder. And the main thing that this does, you'll see this threshold level here. If I sing over, or if I talk over this threshold, it's going to make anything that goes over this threshold, it's going to squash it down and make it quieter. So if I go, ah, you can see it's applying this much gain reduction, this much volume reduction to anything that goes over that amount. So when I sing loud, it doesn't reflect that in the output gain. Okay. I'm also going to throw on a little bit of reverb. Again, you can use any reverb plugin that you want. And there's probably a reverb plugin that came free with your digital audio workstation. Heck, you can probably even download a bunch of amazing free reverb plugins. I paid for this one because it is my favorite reverb plugin of all time, the Fab Filter Pro R. And I've got a wonderful preset that I've applied here. This one, I love this one, Vocal to Mix Glue. I'm going to turn this on. Hello. Yes. There we go. And I'm not going to make it all that wet. I'm going to put, maybe 15, 16%. So now my vocals sound much better. I'm going to turn this off so you don't have to listen to me through that reverb the whole time. Okay, let's move over to the guitar. I'm going to turn the guitar on. Now, again, there are a ton of amazing guitar simulation plugins, amp simulation plugins, I should say, that you can download for free. The one that I downloaded for free that I really like is called Amplitube. It's by IK Multimedia, and I will put links to download this in the description. The free version comes with a bunch of amps and a bunch of effects and stuff like that, so you can play around with it to your heart's content. I basically just kind of picked an amp that I think would sound good clean, messed around with a little bit of the settings, and so let's have a listen. This is at bypass. This is not turned on, so this is just... That's just the sound of the guitar without it on. If I turn this on, now it's going to sound a little bit more like it's on an amp. There we go. Another great thing about Amplitube and a lot of these plugins is that they come with tuners. So if your guitar is always out of tune, then you can fix it. So I'm not going to make you sit through that. Generally, this sounds okay. What I'd like to do is maybe add a little bit more depth to it. So I'm going to call in my buddy, the Pro R, again. And I've done this preset gold plate that I think sounds really great with a clean, sort of acoustic-y sounding guitar. Here's how it sounds with it turned on. Really nice and shimmery and cool. Okay, last step before we send this audio out to the video, but a very important one. So you've got your vocals here, right? And you've got your guitar track, and both of those are independently being sent out to the master track. Well, what if you're singing real loud, right? And playing the guitar real loud? Both of these volumes summed together might be more than your master track can take. It might be too loud, right? So you want to sort of tame that before it gets sent out to the video. Now, on Pro Tools, you can add in effects to your master track, to the things that's getting sent out to the speakers or out to the video in our case. Now, on some other audio software, Reaper, etc., I don't know if you can actually do that. There's an easy way around it, and that's to make an auxiliary input track. So the way you do that in Pro Tools is you go to New, Track New. I'm going to do a stereo aux input track, and you name it whatever you want. I've already done this, and I've named it Squish Me. Now, the way that aux input tracks work is it's essentially a way to sort of route a signal into it. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to pick an input. You'll see where this is going in a second, right? We're going to pick an input here. We're going to say that Squish Me is on input, 39 and 40. And then the vocals, and so it's going in 39 and 40. It's going out to output 1 and 2, which is our master track here, right? So I'm going to say the vocals, instead of going out to our master track, they're first going to route through 39 and 40. And the same thing with our guitar. It's first, before it hits that output track, we're going to make it go through bus 39 and 40. So now these two are routing out through here, through Squish Me, and then it's routing out through the master track, and then this will go out to our video. So right now, right, I haven't done anything to this track. Right now, I can sing real loud on my vocals, and I can play my guitar real loud, and if I play both at the same time, I'm not going to blow your ears out, but there's a possibility that this could go up into the red and could peak out. So how do we prevent that? What we're going to do is we're going to add in a limiter onto this track. It'd be the same thing about, as adding in a limiter to your master track. This is essentially your new master track right here, right? So let's go ahead and add in an effect. And I'm just going to add the limiter that comes with Pro Tools, the DYN compressor limiter. It's a stereo track, so I'm going to add in the stereo version. There's a preset on this limiter that you can use for this. It's called Brick Wall. It's Brick Wall limiter. So when I turn this on, suddenly things are going to get a little louder because it popped up the gain. Now, if anything goes over this volume threshold here, this little arrow, it's going to squash it to pieces, and it's going to prevent it from, essentially going over 0 from peaking. So if I sing real loud, right, you can see how it's kind of hitting that threshold. If I play my guitar real loud, now it's really hitting that threshold, right? You can see the volume kind of, once it hits over this hump, it'll squash it down. So if I do both at the same time, I'm singing real loud and playing the guitar, right? It stops that from happening. So having a limiter at the end of your signal chain, really, really important to prevent you from blowing out the ears of anybody listening to your live stream. Okay, next step is, how do we take this amazing audio that we have here? Now let me turn this. How do we take this amazing audio that we have here and send out to your video?
To route your audio out of your interface and into your computer, you have two options. Option A is to use a dual mono 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch stereo cable. You'll plug the two 1/4 inch cables into the left and right outputs on the back of your box, and the 1/8 inch plug will go into your line-in jack on your computer. Some computers will only have what looks like a microphone jack, but most of these double as a line-in jack as well. Just make sure it's set up to be a line-in jack in your computer settings. We don't want the computer to think that it's a microphone and try to amplify the signal, because you'll end up with a distorted mess. Option number 2 is to use the headphone monitoring jack on your interface and plug that into the line-in on your computer. This will require a 1/4 inch TRS to 1/8 inch TRS cable. The reason I'd recommend option A is because you probably want to use that headphone jack for, well, headphones in order to monitor your performance. This is especially true if you're using backing tracks. Okay, the audio is mixed and routed to your computer. For the last and most important step, we're going to get our video set up. Now, you could just connect to YouTube or Facebook Live using the built-in webcam capture, but remember, we're trying to make you not suck. Instead, we're going to use the video capture software called Open Broadcaster Software, or OBS. There are two flavors of OBS that I want to talk about: plain Jane regular old OBS, or Streamlabs OBS. Both are free, but Streamlabs requires you to make an account with their service to get started. Both are relatively easy to use, but I've found that Streamlabs OBS makes adding in the extra bells and whistles a little easier. We're talking things like chat boxes, donation alerts, etc. I'm going to show you the rest of the tutorial on the regular OBS software, and once you understand the basic concepts, I would recommend you try out Streamlabs and just see which one you like better. One more very important thing: lighting. Cameras exist as a tool to capture light. So generally, how you light a scene matters way more than the quality of the camera or webcam you're using. Here's how this place looks with all the lights turned on, and here's how it looks with a few lights set up specifically to film. This is clearly way better. The same thing applies to your live stream. Okay, with that out of the way, let me show you how to set up your stream. Okay, let's get you streaming. The first thing you need to do is download the Open Broadcaster Software Studio. You can do that by going to obsproject.com and by choosing the download for Windows or Mac, whatever operating system you're on. I suppose if you're on Linux, go ahead and do that. And then open up OBS. The first time you open it up, it will ask you a number of questions, general setup. You can skip that. You can close out of it if you want. You can go through it if you want. Doesn't matter. The two things we're going to be paying attention to here in OBS are scenes and sources. So scenes correspond to, maybe different events, different camera angles, different things to set up. You could create a scene that's like a waiting room that plays an animated GIF or a movie or whatever while people are waiting for you to go live. You can make scenes with different camera angles. Doesn't really matter. The sky's the limit here. So I've created a new scene for an event we've got coming up called Quarantine Karaoke. Now, currently, it's blank, right? There's nothing going on in here. So the first thing we need to do is add in a webcam. So to do that, under Sources, we're going to hit plus and then choose Video Capture Device. You'll notice there's a lot available to us here, and we'll get to that. But first, let's go Video Capture Device. Now, I already have my Logitech here. If you don't have it set up already, which you probably won't, it'll look like this. I'm just going to make it one called Test Cam, and it'll come up like this. You just choose whatever device you've got connected to your computer. In my case, I only have one, the HD Pro webcam. So let's cancel out of that. We'll delete this Test Cam, and I'm going to add in the Logitech that I already have set up. So hey, here we go. So first things first, we want to make this look a little better. Just the webcam, kind of boring. So what I've done here is I've made a background to overlay on the top of this video here. I've gone into Photoshop and I've made a little overlay for this with a transparent background, right? And what I've done is I'm saving this here as a PNG file for stream background PNG, and I can save it to the desktop. I've actually already done this, saved it to a different place, but in order to have background transparency, you want to save as a PNG file. So I've already done that. Let's open up OBS again. We're going to go and add that file that we just created. We're going to hit plus, and we'll do image. We'll create a new image, and we'll call it quarantine BG, quarantine background. Hit OK. Now it's going to ask us, okay, what image do you want to add in? In my case, it's in my F drive, and here it is, quarantine karaoke BG. So look at that. Now we look so much more professional, so much cooler, right? We've got all sorts of info on the screen, way better. Okay, our video is generally set up. We still have to add in a bunch of lights and stuff like that, but we need to add in the audio. We need to create a source for the audio from Pro Tools to come in. Now remember, we've got that hooked into our line in jack on the computer. So to bring that into our computer, we hit plus. We're going to do a new audio input capture, right? And I've already created this line in here, so I'm just going to go test line in, right? It'll come up and it'll say, okay, what input do you want to use? And in my case, line in from the Realtek high definition audio. That's the one that's plugged in to the back of my computer. So now I've got that test line in. You'll see the audio mixer here, right? We've got a number of options. Most of them I've already muted. Desktop audio is the stuff that's going to be playing on the computer. We don't want that, right? So you can just go ahead and mute that. The Logitech is the actual microphones up here on the top of the webcam. We certainly don't want that, so I've muted that. Mic aux is the just whatever general microphone you've got set up as your general microphone on your computer. Don't need that either. I've muted that. The line in, right? That's what's coming in from Pro Tools. That's what's got all of our mixed signal coming together. So that's the thing that we want. Okay, so we've got everything set up. We're ready to roll here. So now, how do you get this on Facebook? How do you get this on YouTube? Let's start with YouTube. So first, I'm going to go over to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to go live. I'm going to hit plus here and go live, right? So this will bring up the YouTube Live Studio. And the first thing it's going to ask me is, it's like, hey, do you want to make a new stream with the last settings you used? No, I'm going to make a brand new stream. Instead of copying it, I'm going to make a brand new stream. We'll just call it test. I'm testing, right? So I don't want this to be public. Make it unlisted. I think I already have a test. We'll do test 2, right? And we will create this stream. So what happens is when you create a stream, it's going to give you what's called a stream key. And this is the thing that you're going to need. Now, I'm not going to make this visible so that you can't see it, so that you don't stream anything to the Lords of the Trident page, right? But I am going to copy this key, and this will be important. I'm going to go back to OBS here, and down here in settings, I'm going to click this, and then under stream, you've got a bunch of different places that OBS is automatically set up to stream to, and one of them just so happens to be YouTube. So we check YouTube. Server, you want to use the primary one, and then I'm going to just go ahead and paste in that stream key that I got from that event. Hit apply, hit OK. Now when I hit start streaming, it's going to start sending this data, right, to my YouTube live control room. So let's go back there and let's see if I show up. It usually takes about 20 to 30 seconds for it to show up, so I'm going to just edit this video to where it starts right now. All right, and there we are. We are right here. We're ready to roll. Now, to make this live, to make everybody be able to see it, all you have to do is go up here and hit go live. Since obviously this is a test stream, we're not going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and
stop streaming. You'll notice you can also record your stream to your computer locally, so you can upload it later, so you can edit it, you can do other things to it. You can do both at the same time. You can stream and record. Okay, so that's for YouTube. Let's look at Facebook here. So I'm on the Lords of the Trident page, and if I hit live on Lords of the Trident page, pretty much the same thing happens. It takes me to a live studio room, and it's going to say, okay, how do you want to start going live? Well, I want to use the stream key. Stream key down here, right? It's blurred out, so you can't see it, but there is a copy button. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. Same thing in OBS here. Go to Settings, and then in Stream, you choose Facebook Live. Pop in the stream key, hit apply, and just hit start streaming. And that's it. Once your footage comes up here, you can publish it and go live, and then boom, you are live on Facebook. And that is how you go live on YouTube and Facebook.
OBS also has a lot of extra effects like green screening, audio effects, and more. I would encourage you to play around with it and watch some more tutorials to really get a feel for it. Finally, the big question: how do I make money from streaming? Well, if you're using Streamlabs OBS, there's an option to set up a simple URL to accept tips via credit card or PayPal while you're streaming. In our case, it's streamlabs.com/lordsofthetrident1. This applies to both Facebook and YouTube. As of early 2020, Facebook doesn't yet have a built-in feature for sending tips directly over a live stream. So your best bet is to put a PayPal or Venmo link in the description of the video or somewhere on the screen. YouTube does have a built-in feature for sending money called Super Chats. This utilizes the chat box on the side of the screen and allows people watching the stream to send a Super Chat for any amount they choose. The caveat is, your channel has to already be monetized for this feature to work. That means you need at least 1,000 subscribers and at least 4,000 hours of watch time on your channel. For smaller streamers, you probably just want to use the Streamlabs donation option or a PayPal link. That's it! You're all ready to stream like a pro. Keep building your audience and you'll be making bank in no time. And if you were showered in Super Chats, plastered in PayPal, or buried in bits from these tips, please help support the band by joining our Metal Army at patreon.com/Lords of the Trident. I will see you live on the internet. Stay metal!